Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. It is Wednesday afternoon and I have the Shadowland Tarot out on the tarot table because we're dealing with serious things today, shadow type things. Shadowland Tarot, there it is. And because we're dealing with serious things today and shadow type things today, I'm going to point you right now at the disclaimer in the box below and remind you that this is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes or just my opinion. And I also want to remind you that this is a very serious topic. I'm putting a trigger warning right here for those of you who are feeling vulnerable, sensitive, depressed, in trouble. If you are in trouble, if you feel that you are too frail for this reading, you're too vulnerable for this reading, please switch it off right now. And please reach out to the help that is available. There is always help available. There are always people who will listen and who will help. So having said that, this very serious tarot reading today is the only reading I'm going to be doing today using the Shadowland Tarot, and I'm going to be looking at Prince Harry's state of mind. It is worrying me. It has been worrying me for a while, the readings that I've been doing. It is worrying not only me, it's worrying people on some of the chat forums that I visit from time to time. It is worrying people who are reaching out in questions to Lady C. It is worrying William and Catherine, according to Neil Sean's one of his more recent videos. William and Catherine are very concerned about Prince Harry and would like Prince Harry to reach out to them. Difficult for them to actually reach out to him, apparently, surrounded by people who may not want him to make contact with them. But the message went out very clearly to Prince Harry in a video that I watched early this morning. Prince Harry, please reach out to us. And so it's very serious. It's a very serious topic. I'm doing a Celtic cross today. I'm going to be looking at how bad his state of mind is. He looked dreadful in New York at the United Nations gathering, Nelson Mandela Day on Monday. He looked scruffy. He looked angry. He looked medicated or hungover. He looked like he was full of rage at the room for the empty seats that were there. The vast majority of seats were empty. He looked very angry at Meghan. The claw was out trying to control him and he wasn't interested in being controlled. It was not a happy sight. It was in fact very difficult to watch. Some of it was very, very difficult to watch, but more shuffling. So he looks very much as if he is in trouble. And I'm going to be doing this reading, and the question of this reading, this Celtic cross, is, are we heading for some kind of tragedy? And I don't want to be more explicit than that, but are we heading for some kind of tragedy with Prince Harry? And Celtic cross coming up. As I say, if you yourself, anyone watching this feels in a similar situation, feels overwhelmed by your life circumstances, please reach out, ask for help, and there we go. Underlying energy of this reading is justice. And justice has many meanings in the tarot. It means literally justice. It means balance. Primarily, though, we're talking about somebody's mental state. And I am not a professional. Remind you of that. I am not giving a professional diagnosis here. But it is about balancing your state of mind. It is about finding equanimity. It's one of those wonderful words, equanimity, that you neither up too high or down too far, and you're just balanced and you are stable. It's also karma. It's also what goes around comes around, and he might be feeling a bit of that. It's upright. It's that's a good sign. But that's what we're striving for here in this reading. We're striving, and what most of us are striving for in our lives, to find that sweet spot where we are stable, and where no matter what happens in our world, however wild the wind is, or however hot it is, or the floods, or the whatever drama is going on, we endure. We are resilient. That's a word that's been abused quite a lot recently in some of the talks that Harry and Meghan have given. But resilience is a very important thing, and it's something that you learn, you develop over time. But let's have a look and see. So that's the underlying energy, the situation, the heart of the matter right now, the heart of the matter. And we get the Page of Swords in reverse. And the Page of Swords it's one of those tricky little cards, quite honestly. It's a communication card because it's a page, but it's braced, it's vigilant, it's wary, it's doing research, it's looking things up, it's learning. In the reverse, you can see the sword is pointed down when the card is in the reverse. That's a silence. Normally, traditionally in tarot, when the sword cards are pointed down into the ground, it means no speaks. So there is a level of silence, but it also, for me, means spending a lot of time online looking at negative comments. We know that he does, according to Tom Bower's book, the excerpts that have been released so far in the Times newspaper, the UK Times, London Times. We know that he and Meghan spent a lot of time going through negative comments, and I think this is what is going on. I think he is spending too much time online looking for people saying nasty things about him, apparently quite bewildered about how badly his speech at the United Nations was received, doesn't understand why so many people are so deeply critical of him across the spectrum in the United States and across the world. South Africans are very indignant, very vocal about it as well. Americans, as I say, across the board were pretty condemnatory of his speech, his meddling in American politics. He doesn't get it, he doesn't understand, and if he is spending his time digging around, snooping, seeing what nasty things people are saying on Twitter and Instagram and Daily Mail comments and wherever else, because it's everywhere now, then this is a dangerous place for him to be. It's a dangerous way to spend your time, my opinion. So what is the challenge that he is facing right now? Take this card out, and the challenge is the King of Wands in reverse. And Wands in reverse for me signify depression. Wands is your life force, your vitality, your enthusiasm, your joy, your excitement, your passion, your libido. And when the King of Wands is in reverse, a lack of libido, a lack of joy, a lack of enthusiasm, a lack of excitement, difficulty getting out of bed in the morning, anger. Wands in reverse, very angry. He is very angry. I said that in my little preamble to this reading. He looked furious. Body language guy picked it up. Lots of people picked it up. I picked it up. He looked really, really angry at some moments in that United Nations visit. Furious, in fact. I think he cannot believe what is happening to his life. He cannot believe the situation that he's landed in. So, very angry, very depressed from this card. His leadership hasn't amounted to anything, because kings are about leadership. They're the archetypal male energy, in the sense of fathers, leaders, experts, business people, just as the queens are for women. Our female energy, not necessarily even women. But this is about being successful. Being successful, the King of Wands is a leader, inspiring people to follow you, and off you go into the wilderness, follow me. But nobody's following, because the King of Wands is in reverse. This grand scheme that they had for him to be the King of America didn't work out, hasn't worked out. Nobody's following, and it's humiliating. It really is humiliating. So behind the scenes, what is going on behind the scenes? And behind the scenes, a universe can of course give any answer it wishes to. I have asked various things though. I have asked, is he struggling with drugs, alcohol, that kind of thing behind the scenes? And even more pertinently, is he struggling with very negative thoughts about self-harm behind the scenes? Anything that universe wants to answer to that question. And we get the 7 of Pentacles. It's not a bad card. It's not a bad card. It's a thinking card. 7 of Pentacles is literally a taking stock card. And this is what I have been seeing in my readings on Prince Harry in the past few weeks. That he is really having to think about things. Think of some very uncomfortable thoughts. Take stock of his life and how he has landed up in the situation he has got himself into many, many times. 7 of Pentacles and similar cards have come up in my readings. So this is not a card of self-harm. This is not a dangerous card, but this is a card of what have I achieved? What have I accomplished? How have I arrived in this predicament? Where I am so angry, where I am being under attack all the time, the Page of Swords in reverse, feeling attacked, and particularly online. How has this come to pass? I thought that I was doing so well. I've spent a lot of money. The 7 of Pentacles is also about spending money and getting a return on that money that you've invested in something. How is it, if I spent so much money on PR, if I've done all of this, how is it that I am in this situation that I am in? So that's where he is mentally, according to these cards and according to my opinion as a tarot reader. What is his focus? More consciously, his goal, is he focused on working on himself, on getting better? What is he focused on right now? Where is his mental energy going? I'm tempted to say it on fleeing. Discretion card. It's a judgment card. In a normal tarot deck. It's called the Discretion card in the Shadowland Tarot. The Wise Owl with the red shoes. Very interestingly, we know whose red shoes they are. Flying away. It's the Judgment card. It is the Awakening card. And it is decisions. It is about some form of awakening, some form of being reborn, because that's what judgment is. You're judged, we've got Justice card here, you're given another chance. He wants another chance. He wants wisdom. He wants possibly not to be trusting so much the wearer of those red shoes, but he wants to rise, and he wants to almost be whisked away and taken to somewhere where he can start again. The Judgment card, the Discretion card, is, as I said, rebirth. It is that moment of awakening. You get another chance. This is what you have done. It's another taking stock card, really, but it's major arcana. He wants another chance. And I would say that the chance that he wants is the chance to go back to the royal family, because of the fact that there is a bird here flying. It's a wise old owl. He's attained some degree of wisdom and insight through this trauma that he's going through. And that's encouraging, that's positive. I'm happy to see that as a reader. I'm relieved to see that as a reader. And that he feels that if he could just lift up a bit and flap those wings and fly, he would find his freedom. There is a degree of finding freedom in this card. So his past, how did his past expectations match up to his experience up until now? This is the past energy, basically, but we get the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords in reverse. Ace of Swords in reverse. Ace of Swords, of course, is being stuck in a mind, a construct, a mental construct, not being able to see your way out of a situation that was oppressive, difficult, But the card is in the reverse. Eight of Swords in the reverse meant that he felt that he would be able to leave his troubles behind him. He would be able to find his freedom. He would be able to escape the trap that he was in, his mental problems, because swords are about the mind. They're about the thought processes. So he thought somehow in the past that he would be able to get out of this very difficult mental condition that he has been in for a large period of his life, allegedly, and be able to free himself from that. We see from the current situation that he's in that it hasn't necessarily gone very well so far, but he's having a think about it, and he wants a second chance. He has achieved some degree of awareness about what is going on in his life that he did not have before, that he very possibly did not have way back there in the past. So reading turning out not nearly as bad as I was concerned it might be so far. Let's see what's happening next. Is his mental state going to get better, or is it going to deteriorate? Is it going to get worse? And we get the Page of Wands. And that's a positive card. It's a new beginning, Page of Wands. It's messages, it's communication. It's fresh starts, it's learning. Pages are about communicating, but they're also their juvenile energy, so they're beginner energy, beginner mind. If you have been in a lot of mental trouble, and the Eight of Swords is certainly a card of mental trouble, then a page comes along. It's a good place to be, because it is that almost wiping the slate clean and saying, well, I'm going to start again with beginner mind. I'm going to learn new lessons. I'm going to try new things. That's an encouraging card as well, the Page of Wands. It is telling me he might actually reach out. He was being asked to reach out. This is near future energy. This Page of Wands has been asked to make contact with people back home in Blighty who might have his best interests at heart, unlike the people closer to home in California. Just saying, speculating. Page of Wands is messages. Maybe sending a text message or a WhatsApp to somebody who will actually listen and care, and having the energy to do it, because Wands upright are about that energy, that enthusiasm, being able to pick up the phone and do it. If you are feeling depressed, being able to pick up the phone and talk to somebody, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to get to that place. I know that from personal experience. So let us see who's out there who can help. Who's out there who can help? According to universe, who is listening? Who is waiting for that call? We get the Seven of Swords. Well, this is tricky. This is where the problem starts, because he knows that he has harmed people. He knows that he has harmed people who cared about him. The Seven of Swords is not a nice card. It's a card of trickery. It's a card of sneaky behavior. It's a card of really ghosting people, taking what isn't yours, running away. It's a cowardly card. It's a deceptive card, a dishonest card, an unethical card. He knows that he has hurt the people back home who most cared about him, who had his best interests at heart. That would be William and Catherine. It's clear to me they haven't showed up literally in this reading, but I think from the very powerful message that was given by Neil Shorten this morning, and I know some people treat him with quite a degree of disdain, and yes, I know, but he is used as a channel of communication. I'm very clear about that. I've done readings on it, used to communicate with Harry and Meghan. And this was a very clear communication. You need to reach out and speak, and he wants to. He really wants to, but he knows that it's going to be difficult. He's going to actually have to face people that he has harmed. Not easy. He's not innocent in this situation. He's not innocent at all. So that is that. What pressure is he under? Well, tell us about the pressure that he's under right now in this situation. Traditional Rider Celtic cross kind of a question. Five of Cups in reverse. This is the mental state. This is the Five of Cups. This is the card of grief, woe, regret, remorse. And the pressure is because his card is in the reverse. He wants to get out of that negative state. He wants to make amends. He wants to make amends. We've seen it here with this judgment card, this discretion card. Fluffy has arrived for her snack. So if you hear scratching and bells ringing and whatever else, it's not the end of the world. It is just Fluffy who's come along for her late afternoon feeding and trying to ignore her. She's doing her best to sort of entice me. There she goes, scratching. Entice me away from the tarot table and towards the food. But she can get there herself. 5 of Cups in reverse. A lot of regret, a lot of remorse, a lot of bitterness, self-flagellation even. Wanting to overcome it, wanting to reach out to these people he has harmed, wanting to make amends. Hopes and fears for Prince Harry at this current juncture in his life. It's a very difficult place that he's in. And we get the Chariot in reverse. Card that I often see with Harry and Meghan, and that is literally the wheels coming off. Big card in reverse. It is also, of course, sometimes forget to say this, I do, it's the Prince William card, because it is the Cancer card, the Cancerian card of the Tarot Major Arcana. He is worried that Prince William is going to say, I'm not interested, I don't care, go away, because that card has come out in reverse. Big card. Prince William's driving forward. Prince William's got his own things going on now. He's got Earthshot in Boston in December. He's been groomed to take over the Duchy of Cornwall. He really has stepped up massively since Harry and Meghan exited. And Prince Harry is concerned that Prince William will just say no. I'm not interested in your problems. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Our relationship has stopped. It's reached the end of the road. That's one of the literal meanings of the Chariot in reverse, reached the end of the road. He's concerned also for his own journey, his own ambitions, because the Chariot is very much also about ambitions, that his ambitions have reached the end of the road and nothing has manifested. He hasn't been able to accomplish anything. King of Wands in reverse. It's just a huge big mess. It's a car crash. Don't want to dwell on that image too much, so we'll move on to the outcome of this reading. This outcome card is, are we looking at a tragedy that is unfolding before us? Is it going to get better? Is it going to get worse? Here, near future, better, because he's going to start talking, he's going to start reaching out. Ultimately, where are we going? We're going back to the royal family with the Hierophant. We're going back. I'm very relieved to see that card as a tarot reader, extremely relieved to see it. Much as I abhor the way that he has behaved, the way that he has treated people who have had nothing but kindness in their hearts for him. He's going back to where he belongs. He's going back to where he belongs. He's going back to the structure, the stability, the Taurus, the Queen, the royal family. He's going back to that safety, that security, that organization. He's going back onto the right path, because the Hierophant is about learning. It is about arising, stepping up step by step, higher and higher, ascending. He's had an awakening. He's had an awakening right now. He's thinking. The trumpet is sounding. His eyes are opening. He's seeing the situation that he's got himself into. He knows that he needs to be balanced. He knows that there is some balancing of the scales that is required, not just of his own mental condition, but also of his relationship with these people that he has harmed, these people sitting down here in the Seven of Swords, that he shot those dynasty arrows at, and then ran away and hurt them terribly, and he knows it. He is empathetic enough to know it with this 5 of Cups in reverse. There's been a lot of sorrow there. There's been a lot of sorrow and regret. And he is very concerned about Prince William saying, not interested. But we've got Prince William coming out here, showing up as the Chariot, and we've got the Queen. We've got the Queen showing up. The Queen calling and calling and calling and calling him back. Calling him back with that card. The wise old owl there with those red shoes. Come back. Come back. And looks like he's on his way in this reading. That's your reading for today. Please look after yourselves. Please look after each other in the comment section as well, if you notice that anybody might be struggling. And thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.